Hey, legends, welcome to the Thursday Sesh on Celtic Down Under. I'm your host, Jared, and joining me tonight is Willie, who is a bit under the weather. So, we're going to have a relatively quick pod tonight just for Willie's health reasons, so he can go to bed. So,
Uh,
yeah, just how you doing, Willie, other than being a bit crook?
I'm very busy at work. It's silly season. I've got a project coming to an end and another couple of projects starting, and they're overlapping. And it's not been a very enjoyable experience the last couple of weeks. I've been a bit stretched for my own time's sake. So, and I'm now got the cold, which doesn't help matters, right? So here we are.
Get punchy. That's all I have to say. Get punchy. There you go. Make the apprentice do it all.
Yeah, there is
That's how it
that.
is. Yeah, so thanks everyone for tuning in to this episode on the Celtic Down Under YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. If you're watching on either of them, please, if you haven't done so, hit like button on the video, hit subscribe or follow the channel on Facebook. And yeah, we'll just try and grow it. And then all our social media channels are listed below on the screen. So our Instagram, our Twitter, we're on Blue Sky. You can find us on YouTube, obviously. So just give them a follow. Help us just grow it and try and somehow beat the YouTube algorithm. So what we'll do, Willie, is we'll just get straight into the Champions League review, which is Celtic nil, Zagreb nil, Dinamo Zagreb, obviously, and yeah, it was a bit of a damp squid, I think, is how the saying goes. So yeah, the lineups wasn't anything out of the ordinary. It was Casper. The big question going in pretty much were what was the midfield rotation going to be, what was the centre back pairing going to be, and who was going to be at left back. They're the three questions anytime we play in the Champions League. So wasn't anything unexpected there. But Greg Taylor starts, Alistair Johnson on the other, Team America in the middle, Trusty and Carter Vickers. Then midfield of Bernardo, McGregor, and Hatade. Up front, Kyogo with Maeda and Kun. So I was just looking at that going, yeah, we should be right. We should be able to do them. I expected a win. And that's kind of funny, I think, at the moment, Willie, because how often have we gone into Champions League against Celtic away in Europe, as I was saying, and there's always some sort of nightmare. And the fact that we went in thinking we could win this and that it was a 0-0 draw, people are unhappy about it. Yeah, what's your thoughts on the starting lineup and just on the situation we're in? We'll talk about overall after the next couple of games later on in the episode. But yeah, what was your thoughts on the lineup and your mindset going into the game?
I was feeling quite confident going into the game, actually, knowing that they had a few players out injured, and kind of thought this could be a 3 points here for the taking. And it's changed days because it used to be away in Europe. Yeah, I just had full thought that we're going to get beat here. We're going to either play really well and then just have one momentary lapse and lose the game, or we're going to go out and in like the 30th minute randomly have a 5 minute spell where we just concede two goals, which puts the game to bed, and that's it all over and done with. But this game was completely different. I kind of felt confident that we were going to go there. I didn't think we were going to get beat. So that's very, very different for us in Europe. So the only surprise I had is when I was doing a little bit of digging on them and how they played, they don't like physical presence playing against their defenders. It said some of the stuff I was reading, I kind of thought they would start with Ida instead of Kyogo. It might have been a night for him, being in the winter out there in Zagreb. But other than that, there's no real surprise in the lineups.
The thing with them, Willie, as well, like I was looking at, I read all your notes and stuff that you said about them and the physical presence up front. Yeah, but the thing is, they're a sort of team, and we saw it on the game where they're the sort of team that likes to be physical but doesn't like to be touched. Like they were absolute, and the ref let the game play out that way. Like we saw it numerous times where they cop a little bump, they go down, having a cry, waving their hands around, and we're getting some cheap cards, and then they're absolutely clattering us, and get play on, play on. So yeah, it was a bit of an interesting one there. Robert Gibson has already come in with a great comment here. Game was as flat as a pancake, pretty much. So yeah, it was a bit of an interesting one. So what was your thoughts on the first half, Willie?
Yeah, first half. I thought we were by far the better team in the first half. I mean, you look at the stats; it was at 68% possession to 32 for us, 88% passing accuracy, but the XG is like 0.11, which is really low. There was not really an awful lot to say about the half of football. Zero shots on target from either side, and the low XG kind of shows that it was a really, really just a poor first half. We had them lion's share of the possession, as we're saying, but we just couldn't find an opening for them. Like, try to get the ball wide to Maeda and Kuhn, and we just couldn't get any joy there. And the ball ended up back in the centre, and it just got sort of passed to death between centre halves and centre midfielders as we try to get it back out wide again to try and open something up. But there was just nothing happening. I think, what is it, Paulo Bernardo's shot from a free kick was about the only talking point of the whole half, really. The handball. I think that was about it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was an interesting one because if we had been that bit more aggressive, you're looking at it going, okay, we could have taken the game to them. But it was like, okay, we get the ball to a position where, okay, let's have a crack, and the ball goes backwards. And then we get to another position where there's a half chance or there's Kyogo's making a run, but it hasn't been sighted by the winger because he's looking backwards again. He hasn't turned his head and looked up. So for me, that was the frustrating thing. Like, and the thing I noticed in this game in particular, just talking in general, is when Maeda and Kun aren't up and about, we are very, very, very weak on the wing. Like, you look at our centre back, for instance, centre backs, if Carter Vickers starts, Trusty starts, Scales can start in Champions League, any one of those three, I wouldn't care who's on the starting team sheet in the Champions League, let alone in the Scottish League. And then you look at our midfield and you've got 5 quality starting level players, like not necessarily Champions League level starters. There's a couple of guys there whose colours lowered their colours a bit on this game, but in general for the Scottish League, we've got McCowan, Kalmack, Engels, Bernardo, Hatade. So we've got 5 guys for 3 spots. So we've got depth there. At the striker position, it's Kyogo as 1A and then 1B. It's not a first and a second option. 2 starters as Ida. We've got depth, but you look at our wingers, who are you going to go with? You're going to put Young out there? You're going to put Palmer out there? The only serviceable winger we have at Champions League level, if Maeda and Kun are off the pace, is Jamesy Forrest. So that's something that needs rectified. But yeah, I just thought overall we were flat, we were slow, and we weren't anywhere near as aggressive as we should be.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, if we just never really got out of third gear, to be honest. Yeah, like, and the game was there for the taking too. It just didn't happen. Like, credit to Dinamo Zagreb, they defended really well. They had eight first team players out, and they were just stodgy in defence. And you can give them credit for their defensive performance, but we really didn't grab the bull by the horns in this one. Like we should have. But
I'm going to give you an Aussie one here for you, Willie. You said we didn't get out of third gear. I say most of this game both teams were just idling, and then what we did was then we'd just try and go idle, get the revs up, and then slap it straight in the second gear and try and bunny hop. And then we'd hop a little bit, and it's like, oh no, we're about to stall, so let's pass it back. That's the car analogy for you right there. It wasn't a very comfortable one. But
yeah.
looking at the stats, Willie, it's like overall they had 11 shots, only 2 on target. We had 7 shots, only 1 on target. We had 69% possession. Nice. Passes, 644 to 290. Both teams with 9 fouls, 3 yellows to 2. Both teams had 1 offside. We had 10 corners. So it was one of them where, realistically, like if you look at our history against them, we beat them in the Europa League in October 2014, 1-0, and then they beat us 4-3 last time we played at their stadium in December 2014. So it's been 10 years since we're there, and it's a 0-0 draw. So in our last 3 games, we pretty much balanced the points out the whole way, and the goals are exactly the same. So it's a pretty obvious result there. So with the
So
early yellow to Greg Taylor, and then Alistair Johnson getting clattered. As we said, it was pretty physical, not just first half overall for them. They were doing that, and then the ref with his cards and all that sort of stuff. Were there any other points that you looked at it and thought, there should have been a few more cards? Do you think the ref was card happy? What was your thoughts on that, Willie?
Nah, I think the referee tried to let as much go as he could. He probably got the cards right. It was an early booking. He's kind of laid it out that he wasn't going to tolerate much nonsense with the early booking for Greg Taylor. But I didn't, to be honest with you, I didn't really notice the referee much during the game. I wouldn't say I had any issues with him. So it kind of shows on that front. You know what I mean? Sometimes if you get a referee that's card happy, you know straight away, and you're like, "Oh, what's this guy doing?" I didn't really notice him. It was just all round. It was just not really great viewing, and the referee didn't do anything too wrong. I don't think. I won't hold anything against the guy. Like.
I'll say something he did that shit me then. There was a couple of times, I can't remember if it was Engels or Bernardo, got the ball and they're starting to run forward and the referee is right there where they need to make the pass to the only guy making the run. It happened once or twice. I think it was once in the first half, once in the second half, where we get in the ball, we actually have a chance where we're running it and trying to counter-attack, and the one guy who is onside, because Kyoko's run himself offside as usual, so we have to go to a winger, and the pass to the winger, the ref positions himself right where we need to pass it. It happened at least twice, and I'm just like, dude, be better than that.
Yeah.
Like, that's the sort of stuff you'd expect to see in the A-League, not in the Champions League.
I would say like the referees in Scotland don't really bother me either, but aye, they do.
They do, really. If anyone saw our group chat, if anyone's going to bring up any refereeing decision on the weekend and be just tearing strips off him, guilty as charged. It's Willie.
Well, you've got John Beaton refereeing the game, for fuck's sake. It's my biggest bugbear. Like, you know what I mean? Since Ian Brines before him, he was another one I just couldn't stand. Like, you know what I mean? And now it's John Beaton. There's always one there that I just really hate more than anyone else.
Yeah, it's Ron Dobertson. That was the first one for you.
Hold on.
There we go. I'm just bringing up a quote for you, Willie, because it ties in. There it is. If you're good enough, the referee doesn't matter. Jockstein. That's what we're going to have to do on the weekend. But, yeah, I'll just bring up a couple of comments here. So Robert Gibson was saying, a chance missed to qualify for the next round. I was doing Christmas shopping online while watching the game. Who says men can't multitask? Then you got Heavy Vibes saying Rio was woeful again and we were lost in the final third of the field. Should have won, but happy not to lose. That's the absolutely fucked up part here, Heavy Vibes. It's like, the fact of the matter is that we gone away from home in Europe. We didn't concede. We didn't score. 0-0 draw. We picked up a point. But we're all like, we should have won, but we're happy not to lose. The fact that that is progress for us, last season, we would have lost that game. As Willie said, there would have been a 5-minute period or where they've just gone whack, whack, copped us with 2 quick goals, and then our heads drop, and that's game over. So the fact of the matter is, yeah, it's progress. So we'll have to take that on board. McLaughlin is saying you almost get the feeling both teams agreed to draw before the game. I almost think both teams are a little scarred from getting absolutely pumped early on, and they didn't want to ruin it. Like, you look at us, our goal difference is back even again. They're still at -5 goals from this. So almost seems that way. And then Tamboy will definitely add a quality winger in January. There was that guy that we were linked with playing in, I think it was Balashwaka or something like that, or Balikwasha. I don't know, the guy playing in Belgium. He was a natural left winger who can play across the front. He would be perfect. Like, that would be the guy. Jamesy can back up Kun on the right. You can have Balashwaka backing up Maeda. Then you get rid of Palmer. You get rid of Yang. And you have 4 first-team quality wingers. There you go. You're all set.
Yeah, getting someone like Jota who could play either wing would be ideal. Like, you know what I mean. And then you got backup for both positions, but they're hard. They're hard to find. Like, you know what I mean. They're really expensive kind of players. Like,
Yep. And then we got heavy vibes here saying Rogers is doing great if we are not happy with an away draw in Europe. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Tamboy is saying it's a pity McCowan is cup tied for the Huns game on Sunday as it's a perfect game for him. I think we'll go with Kelmac, Engels, Bernardo. Yeah, I think the same for the midfield. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Here you go. Some comments about the refs here. Robert Gibson. Ref had good positional sense. Yeah, for an attacker. And beaten as the face I could stomp in a mince. It's a face not even a mother would love.
I don't know.
Yeah. What else have we got here? Yeah, so we'll just go through a couple of other things there. There was no goals to talk about. Second half was more the same as the first half. The clear lack of attack by both teams in the game, Willie. Do you think Zagreb set up like a Scottish team but just with better players and parked the bus? Because for me, I think it was kind of like we're playing a better version of St. Johnson, just with the uniform. That's what that comes into my head for. And I just think we should have got on the attack. But that last 20 minutes, it was like, everyone's chewing their nails going, we don't want to do Celtic away in Europe and just, drop our colours there. So what was your thoughts? Should we have got a bit more aggressive later in the game, or was it more like playing against a Scottish team like St. Johnson but with better players?
I kind of got that vibe too. I mean, I thought that game was there for the taking, and I kind of thought when the second half started, I thought, right, we'll go out and have a go at this team now, but we never really did. Like, you know what I mean? And like for 10 minutes, we had the possession, and it was just sort of reticulated around the middle of the pitch, back and forth, tippy tappy stuff, nothing really happening. And then I think they had the first shot of the second half. That Piazza was his name. He had a shot blocked by Trusty, like. But aye, and then McCowan came on, and they made a couple of subs. McCowan came on. He had a shot. He tried to put a bit of energy into the game, but he kind of got stuck in the stodginess of it all eventually too. The front three not firing at all. And he did made a bit of a difference when he came on, like, but still the game was just. Even the players seemed to be a bit bored by the hour mark. They just had enough. Right, let's just get the final whistle here and just get off and take our point each and be done with it. Like, by the look of it, like, you just knew from an hour on it was just going to end up 0-0. Like,
The fact their players were down, cramping, wanting treatment after 71 minutes says it all. They're the home team too.
Yeah.
It's like we've travelled all the way across Europe from a cold place to somewhere warmer, and we're making the subs, and our subs are making more of an impact and are up and about. So, Balkan football.
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean, like you say, they had 8 first-team players out, so it was kind of. You could say, is it like St. Johnson, but better players? Like, yeah, it could be a degree of that. Maybe they were just timid that if they tried to step out and pick a hole in us, that they would just pick them off. And it was kind of like watching two old men play a game of chess, and nobody's really just taking hours over each move, and nobody really wanted to make anything of it. Like, it was a bitterly disappointing night because I kind of thought this could be a good game. Like, you know what I mean? A couple of goals in it here and there, but just didn't materialise at all. Like,
So overall, Willie, are you happy with the point?
actually, if you offered me a point before the game, I probably would have taken it. Actually, like, yes, I think we'll feel the game's passed. The players will definitely feel that game passed them by. It was drab. Both teams didn't really want to give an inch in it, and draw's not a bad result, to be honest. Yeah, it leaves us firmly in control of that playoff place. It leaves Dinamo Zagreb with a lot to do. They've got 2 really tough games coming up, and they're only a point above the bottom, the playoff place. Like, so, and we're three or 4 points above the teams that are in the 24th place. So, yeah, we're definitely in the driving seat here for this. I think I read somewhere online we've got a 92% chance of qualifying for the playoffs now. So,
Yeah, so
that's pretty good.
realistically, Willie, if we pick up, we said going into it, it was like if you got 10 points, you were 90-something percent. You got 11 points, you're guaranteed you're through. We're currently in the Champions League after 6 games, so the old system. Our club record for points was 9. Happened under Martin O'Neill, happened under, I think it was Gordon Strachan. So we've equalled that after 6 games. So we've done well here. The fact of the matter is we have young boys who are on the bottom of the ladder, and everyone's pumping them to come up at our place. And then we're going to go to Villa, and hopefully they're already a top 8 or whatever, if they're still doing as well. I haven't checked where they are on it. But, yeah, if you look at that, well, could they actually be just wanting to rest players or rotate players or whatever? Who knows? So I'm just getting the table up now for it. So it's currently Liverpool, Barcelona, Arsenal, Leverkusen, Villa's in 5th. There you go. But the funny thing as well, Willie, is we're on, what are we on? 9 points.
Yeah.
One spot above us is Real Madrid. One spot below us is Man City.
Yeah.
4 spots below us is PSG. And then you have a look at it and go, realistically, you're looking at from teams from Shakhtar Donetsk in 27th down, you can pretty much put a line through all of those clubs. They're not going to come through, even if they won both, right, of the next 2 games. So you're looking at 26 teams playing off for 24 spots. And we are 1 win behind. 1 win puts us in 9th. Like on the same points as 9th if they were to lose. That's how close this is. So, yeah, if we can go and play against young boys, get the 3 points in that, go to Villa, pick up a point. What's that? 4 more points puts us up to 13. There you go. We could even be 9 to 16 and possibly be seeded home for the knockout. But the thing about this game that we're talking about, the Zagreb game, this is a learning experience for our team, because if we're playing a knockout game and team sits deep like that, say if we got another magic draw in the knockouts, right, and we've got a team that's going to sit back like that, especially at your place, you have to go hard at them and be able to break that down. You can't be as passive as that. So it's a good learning experience for our players. You're on mute,
Yeah,
Willie.
it is. Sorry. Yeah, it's definitely a good learning curve for us. I mean, we haven't won a knockout game for quite a few years, so it'd be good to see if we, like, to be one of the seeded teams. There's no easy teams once you get into that sort of side of it. There's not going to be an easy tie in there. Look at some of the teams that are, like you say, Man City's below us, Real Madrid's above us. If results go one way or another, they could both end up in the bottom half and unseeded. You know what I mean? And you could a chance you could get one of them. PSV's another team that's going to be pretty tough. Like, you know what I mean? It's all there to play for. Like, you know what I mean? But you've got to be in it to win it. You know what I mean? And these are the sort of games you live for. Like, so
Yeah. So McLaughlin's saying it's highly doubtful the top 8 will be confirmed after match day 7. It's too bunched up. Yeah, I know. I'm only hoping, mate. I'm only hoping.
what I will say, it's nice to see Brest firmly up there.
He had
Nice
to.
and high up in the table, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he had to. Yeah, I couldn't help himself. Smell the glove saying would be hilarious if FC 115 didn't make the top 24. And then we just go through here. So, yeah, it's one of those where we'll finish off the chat about the game there, Willie. So, there's no need to do player focus. We've already gone through it. Also, who was your man of the match?
Sorry, I pick a man of the match here. Schmeichel had a really good save that kept us in it, and I was actually quite impressed with Bernardo. But I would go with Austin Trusty again because he was solid as a rock as usual. Like, so, and he reads the game really, really well. So probably Trusty.
I was actually going to go Bernardo. So there you go. Happy days. So, yeah, we've just spoken about the whole remaining Champions League games there. So where we're going to be, I think what do you think will secure us a top 24 place, Willie? Do you think a win at
Yeah,
Young Boys and a draw at one point at Villa, or do you like what I'm hoping for, or are you just thinking if we could draw both of them and we could make it? So what are you hoping for?
definitely the win against Young Boys. Like, I think I said at the start when we were drawn, I think we talked about it. I said 10 to 12 points. We'll see you. 10 would see you floating around close to qualifying for the playoff, and 12 would definitely see you in there. So if we can get 12 points, 3 points for the next one, beat Young Boys at home, we'll have cemented a top 24 place. Like, so, and then it's just a free hit against Villa after that. Like,
Yep. I'd have to agree. So I'm just checking something out now quickly for the next topic that we're going to talk about. I was having a look today, and Zombie FC still has to play against Big Ange just coming up the road with Tottenham. So they're playing tonight in the Europa League, so it's 7 a.m. for us over here. So I'm hoping Spurs absolutely smack them around a bit and burst their bubble a bit. And if they happen to want to, leave a few sore spots on some players, that'll be a great thing. So heading into our game on Sunday, Arvo against Rangers in the League Cup final, what are your general thoughts heading into the game, Willie?
It's the first chance a bit of silverware, and it's a chance for us to surpass the combined total of both entities of the Orcs. So yeah, I'm super confident going into this one. Usually, I get nervous coming into Glasgow derbies. It doesn't matter how good a form we're in, how poor form they're in, how good form they're in, how poor form we're in. I'm always nervous going into these games, but right now I can't see anything else other than a win for us. They've won 4 games on the spin, and they'll be probably feeling their sisters, to be honest. Yeah, but um, they might be feeling a little bit confident, but I don't know. I just can't see anything other than a Celtic win right now. I just think we are too strong all over the pitch. I don't think there's one player in that Rangers team who will get anywhere close to our bench. Right? You know what I mean? I just can't see anything other than a Celtic win. Right?
All right, Willie, I'm gonna question you on that. There's not one of their players who'll get close to our bench. So these are the two positions and players I have to ask you about. Does Sinosalo be back up over Butland?
Aye,
Yep.
Batlin's
Good.
Batlin's slow getting down to his left hand side, so
Yep.
we don't know what Sinisalo's all about. So yeah.
And the other one I was going to say is you're basically looking at Ralston at backup right back or Tavernier, and it's the Bricky every day.
Aye. The Bricky can run up and down the wing. Tavernier's burst. Like he's too old for it now. Like you can see it. He's no heart anymore. Like so, no, definitely not.
Yep. So with that, the general thoughts heading in the game, yeah, I'm confident as well. For me, I look at it and go, I'm always confident when we play them. Like I actually don't fear them. I think that they're drinking their own Kool-Aid and yeah, just wait for them the bubble's going to burst. So I think it's funny. But how do you think both teams will back up from the European matches this week? Will the extra 2 days recovery time for us be a major benefit compared with them playing tonight? What are your thoughts on that, Willie?
I think definitely. Well, then you got to throw in the travel. Rangers are at
Yeah,
home, so we've got a day's travel. So
really one
it
day.
definitely, yeah, it definitely plays in our favour. Like if they get smacked around by Tottenham tonight, then that's just going to do their confidence no favours at all. Um, they come off 4 wins on the trot, and they got a good result away in Nice, who aren't on very good form in that table, but they seem to be able to step up in Europe. You know what I mean? So who knows what will happen tonight? But going into this game, looking at the way they've been playing, they've shifted to 2 up top. That Igmani has played the last couple of games, and he's been drifting in from the left to play sort of central. So I can't really see them doing that, because if he does that, if they play him against us and he starts drifting in from the central area, from the left into our central area, that's going to free up room in the middle of the pitch, and we'll just run all over the top of them if they give us any space in the middle of the pitch. Like so, for me, you'll probably see Hadji and Cherny play out in the wide areas with Barron and Raskin holding, and Diomande sitting in front of them, and like they're going to. If we can get into them and get an early goal, we're just going to they'll just retreat into their box, and they'll just start shelling long balls, and that will leave the middle of the pitch all open as their defenders go further back and their front line trying to go higher up and just shell long balls up to them and try and hold it up, just try and get the rest of the team up the pitch. It'll just give us a lot more room in the middle of the pitch there in Hamden. So I can't
Hey,
see any
Willie,
other.
I'm just going
Yeah.
to say something to you. All those names you rattled off, I know two of them. So who are the rest? Who?
Yeah. Cherney, he's a boy. He's come in on loan. Barron, he's the guy that Aberdeen they bought off Aberdeen
Yeah,
that they haven't
I know
paid
that's
for
one of the
yet.
ones I know because
Uh,
I actually rated him when he was at Aberdeen.
uh, Not Raskin. He's the guy that looks at Herman Munster.
Yeah, dirty rat. He's a dirty rat. He's at the perfect club for him.
Uh,
Yeah.
but I just can't see any other than a Celtic win here. Like,
Raskin's got that head on him. He walks around and looks like the angry kid in high school that was bigger than everyone. Early on, he's like this, but then everyone got their growth spurt, went flying past him, and he stayed like 4'2". Yeah,
uh,
he's
he's got
just that
one
boy.
eyebrow. It goes right across.
Yep, the old unibrow.
Uh,
Anyway, so you expecting much squad rotation for us?
um, Not really. There might be a wee change in midfield. The left back situation's one. Nah, I don't see in it. Nah, I think it'll probably be the same team as what went out against Zagreb. To be honest with you, right?
Yeah, I pretty much think it's going to be the only real question is going to be because Taylor played like absolute rubbish midweek, in my opinion. I think he's out of form. Do we go Valle on the wide open spaces at Hampden? Do we truck him in at left back? And then the other question is, do we start Rio or do we start or do we have Rio in there or do we go like as I said early on, Calmac, Engels, Bernardo in the middle of the park to match size and physicality with them? And that's pretty much the main questions for me. Macau when he's cup tied, so he can't play. So yeah, they're pretty much the two question marks for me. So
Yeah,
the key areas for us to win this game are going to be simple.
yeah,
Play our game. Don't lower ourselves to them. That is the key area of focus. I don't want us to be cautious. It's a cup final. All bets are off. Just go for it, especially with brother Beaton as the referee. We'll be looking for some bullshit. So let's actually get out there and have a crack and get the early goal.
yeah. That early goal's key to this game. I think if we get an early goal, their arses will collapse. Like they know they can't beat us. Like they know in their own heart of hearts that they're not good enough to play to beat us. Like, and if we, like I say, if we get that early goal, we could be looking at a really good, comfortable win here. That pitch suits us a lot more than it's going to ever suit them, Mike, because we love to play in the wide open spaces. The more spaces on that pitch, the better it is for us. The more vision, the more area for Rio Hatai to play those forward passes. The ones that he just drops them over his shoulder and just turns onto it and gets it forward straight to Kyogo. I mean, getting that ball front, from back to front, quick. It all adds up to a Celtic win. I just can't see anything else other than a Celtic win this weekend.
And that's the thing with us playing them. If we were playing at Paradise or at Hampden, I'd be at left back. I'd be having Valle because it gives us more balance. We can use the wing. But if we were playing at Ibrox, I'd actually be having Greg Taylor start at left back because he can get in there on their smaller pitch and clog up the midfield. So it's horses for courses, really. But yeah, that pitch suits us heaps better, heaps more than it does them.
I
So I
think.
want to go on,
Sorry,
Willie. No, go
I
on.
was going to say it. I think the other thing is, like, if you play Valle and you've got Maeda Wolf on the left, Tavernier is just going to absolutely shit himself. Like, I mean, he's already got to try and look after Maeda, which he can't do. He knows he can't do it. Like, I mean, it's been proven time and time again. And if Maeda's running all over the place, all of a sudden Valle's appearing behind him, Tavernier could be in for a very, very, very sore game. Like,
Yep. So I'm just going to bring up some comments here. We've got Heavy Vibes are saying win on Sunday put us one trophy and two head-to-head wins against both Hun versions, as you were saying. Smell the gloves saying Croatia to Glasgow flight ain't exactly Auckland to Heathrow. Henrik McLaughlin, their saving grace for their fans has been Europe, so it would be nice to give them a wee doing. McLaughlin saying them only having 2 days to prepare certainly helps us. We had 2 days rest between Hibs and Zagreb, and it showed. Yep. Smell the glove. Rask and the Amish extra from Kingpin. Doc saying, remember the Scottish Cup semi? They had a Euro game. They played an extra time, and then they were still stronger than us. Henrik McLaughlin said, "I'm not sure Tavernier will start." Robert Gibson. Barron looks like a hamster. Robert's also saying Valle should start and I would start Eder. Heavy Vibes is saying leave Rio on the bench. Mahesh is saying Cherny, Ridvan, Haji, and Bayrami are good enough to play for Celtic. Shouldn't underestimate them in the recent form. Not really underestimating them, just taking the piss. Henrik McLaughlin saying Calmac, Engels, Bernardo. And then some other guys saying just don't get into a turgid affair like the May Cup final. And then McLaughlin saying it looks like we could be doing with the week's break after this week's cup final. Yeah, so, and then he's followed up with, I don't know, we just don't seem to be firing as well after this international break. I think it's a combination of international travel, lack of training together during that break. Pretty much the whole squad was away with international teams. And then the fact that we've had so many games, like we've had 3 games in 8 days. And now we had this is our leading up to a game from the Zagreb game to this one. This is actually our longest break we've had in about 3 weeks or something like that. So yeah, it's all happening for the boys. That's why named the episode Busy Boys, because we've been going crazy and let's get through this one, pick up a trophy and laughing. So Willie, what's your expected starting lineup?
The expected starting lineup for me is Schmeichel in goals, Johnson, CCV, Trusty, and Taylor, Kalmak, Bernardo, and Hattati in the midfield, and a front three of Maeda, Kuhn, and Kyogo.
So for me, it's Schmeichel in goals, Valle, Austin Trusty, obviously. I was going to say Austin and Cameron just for fun. So Team America in the middle. Then we have AJ on the right. Apparently he'll be fit. Middle of the park, Calmac, Engels, Bernardo. I'd love to keep Hatate to come on as an impact sub later on, especially because we don't have McCowan in the squad, so that gives us a bit more versatility there. And then up front, Kyogo, Maeda, and Kun. Score prediction, Willie.
4-0.
Exactly what I was going to say. 4-0 as well. Nah, I'll change it. I'll make it 5-1 because that sounds like a good score amount. You know, we've got a bit of history with that there.
Yeah.
And that allows for Brother Beaton to actually, you know, give him his one so he can get his free drinks back at the lodge and everything else too. So yeah, I think we'll leave the pod there. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Just share it around, comment, like, all that good stuff. Willie, we'll give you a final thought to end the show.
Final thought is sod this cold and come on the Spurs.
I feel dirty saying it because I normally say Tottenham suck all the time, but yeah. I'm about to message my mate Andy, massive Tottenham fan, and just send him that COYS to him. He'll get it straight away. So, yeah, I feel dirty for that. So, come on, Big Ange, get up the road and smack him. That's my final thought. Hail, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
Hail.